OBJ. The OBJ file format is for storing very simple geometric objects. It lays out all of their vertices and data in a flat structure. It does not store any object hierarchy. Here is an example of an OBJ file. Here we have an object called triangle. That's the object. Then we have vertex coordinates. The rows starting with V denote different coordinates, the vertex positions. Next we have the texture coordinates. Well, currently these are all 0, but if you would have a textured object, these would be the UV coordinates. Then we have the vertex normal coordinates. So right now we have just one normal because, well, our object is a triangle. Then there's a parameter for the importer, if the importer should smooth the normals or not. And lastly, it's the index. So all of the data we have here, the vertex coordinates, the vertex normal coordinates, the UV coordinates, they're all indexed. So right now we have one face, the row starts with F, and it takes the vertex coordinates index 3, 2, and 1, and these form the coordinates of the vertices of that triangle. Then we also have these texture coordinates, and lastly the normal coordinate. So this 1 denotes the index of the normal, and these 3, 2, and 1 in the beginning, they're the vertex coordinates. There's one more row, this use MTL none. So accompanying the OBJ file is usually an MTL file, which specifies the material. So what color is our triangle? But not just the color. If you open the MTL file, well, the none here is a bit misleading. So this is just a triangle I exported from Blender, and by default it assigns this material named none. And if you open the MTL file, you can see quite familiar parameters here. For example, here we have the material's ambient color, material's diffuse color, material's specular color. There's also the shininess exponent and a few other parameters. But by the end of the day, this is just data. So it's up to the importer and the engine or graphics framework that you're using to render this object, how to interpret that data. So we have the OBJ file, which stores this flat unstructured data and indexes the data to make up the faces. And we have the accompanying MTL file, which defines the parameters of the material. So from this video, you should now understand the OBJ file format, a very simple file format for vertex storage, face storage. You saw what attributes can be stored in an OBJ file, like vertex normals. And very importantly, it does not store an object hierarchy. So if you have an hierarchical model in Blender, it will only store the individual objects separately, but it cannot store the dependency between those objects. And there's an MTL file format, an accompanying MTL file, which stores the material properties.